Hi guys, Shirley here from Family Savings Fun, and I am going to do a project for you guys that was posted in my Fobonichi group. If you haven't heard of a Fobonichi, please go on Facebook and type in Fobonichi in the search bar and you will be brought to hopefully our page. Felicia from Mashed Potato Designs and Kosher are the administrators of the group, and the Fobonichi is an amazing journaling tool. It is a fake Hobonichi, basically, hence Fobonichi. And one of the things that we've been doing is these daily challenges every week, and every week it's a little bit different. And today's daily challenge was to use watercolors in our Fobonichi, and my Fobonichi does not lend itself to watercolors. The pages just don't work out that well. So I am going to do this project in a separate page, and this project was really kind of fun. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and leave comments below if you did. Any advice or ideas to do something a little bit different, that would be great too. I always love learning from everybody. So anyway, the idea is that you're going to use watercolors in your Fobonichi, and you're going to use salt. The salt absorbs the excess water from your watercolors, but it leaves this really cool technique. I'm going to show you two of my projects that I'm still kind of waiting on them to dry, but they are mostly dry and I haven't brushed the salt off of them yet. So here is one of them right here, and the salt just went everywhere, and you can kind of see where the salt has caused these little splotches or little snowflake type effect here. And again, the salt is still on this page for the most part. This was the first one that I did, and I didn't, it wasn't wet enough, so I did a second page, and this is the one that I'm going to show you guys how to do today. This is, I'm calling it my Nebula page. Let me drop the excess here. And you guys can see all of the different, you can see the salt, but you can also see like the difference. And let me pull this back here so you can see the overall effect. It kind of looks like a nebula out in space. So that's what we're going to work on today. For today's tutorial. Now, the salt and watercolor thing is not my idea. There's lots of videos that will show you how to do this with the salt. This is just to show you guys how I did my nebula kind of design, and hopefully you guys can come up with something amazing of your own. And I look forward to seeing that. So I'm going to adjust the camera. I'm going to show you guys what you guys need, and then we'll get started. Okay? Okay guys, so what you need is paper. I'm using a mixed media paper, and this is 98-pound weight paper. You need watercolors, and I'm going to be using my Koi watercolors. Of course you need water. You need sponge brushes. I'm using brushes like this. Okay. And you'll need salt, and I'm actually using kosher salt, kosher sea salt that I just put in a little container here. I really like how big and chunky it is, and it gives a great texture. So that's what we're using. So I'm going to get started, and I will talk as I go along just so you guys can see or hear what I'm doing. Okay? Oh, you guys also need a palette too. My Koi watercolors, and I'm going to do in the first tray right here, I'm going to do a little bit of red, and I'm going to toss some red in the second one because my Koi watercolors don't have a purple, so I'm going to create a purple using red and blue. So a little bit of purple, a little bit of blue there, And, oh, let's do a blue here. You don't need, if you're using this type of watercolor medium here, you don't need a whole lot because you're not going to be using it, you're going to be watering it down a whole lot. Then I'm going to use vermilion. Oh, this one is Prussian blue, this is cobalt blue, and this is called carmine. This is the Koi Watercolors. This is vermilion. Okay. We're going to do, I'm going to do chrome yellow this time. I really liked the lemon yellow I used last time, but I thought it could have been a little bit brighter yellow. So I'm going to use this carmine yellow, or chrome yellow, I mean. And then, let's use the chrome light green this time. I did use Viridian last time, and I really liked that color, so I just want to change it up a little bit. And I think, I think this time I'm going to use a little bit of black. I did burnt sienna, and I really liked the way it came out, but it did come out kind of muddy, and I want this to be a little bit more kind of nebula, spacey, something like that. Okay, so there's our watercolors. And like I said, you're going to be using just regular water, and you want quite a bit for what you're doing. You want the color to be kind of loose. You don't want it to be tight. I don't even know if that's a way to actually say. And you can just kind of eyeball it based on what you're going to be doing, your specific needs or whatever, how many of these projects you want to do. This one will probably do 5 or 6 projects if I wanted it to, but I'm not real worried about, you know, how many projects it's going to do this time. I used just a little bit more than this and did 2 projects and had plenty left over last time. So now I'm going to get my brushes over here. And these are already wet because I was just using them. You can use whatever, you know, brushes you want, clean them out, etc., etc. Again, I'm not too worried about it. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these brushes. I'm going to mix the color first, and it doesn't take but, you know, a couple of pats. And I'm just going to leave these in the liquid up here at the top. And I would say definitely use, you know, if you have a specific color that you want to be the base, instead of using a smaller brush, use a bigger one just to cover the surface a little bit better. Make sure you get it nice and mixed in. And just be really gentle because, again, you know, you don't want the colors to be muddy, so you don't want them to bleed into each other, and these are pretty shallow. My palette is pretty shallow trays there, so just kind of be cautious there. Towards the end of my second picture, I did allow the yellow and the orange to kind of come together, and it turned out to be pretty good. It was a, you know, obviously an orangey yellow color, but it was still really yellow. So not too much mixing happened on that, so that was good. So you just mix these together like so. Alright, and then what you want to do is you want to take your big brush, this one, and just You can dip it in water if you have clean water. I don't, and I don't really care about that. So I'm just going to use this water that I have that I was cleaning my brushes with, my sponges with earlier, because really you want this surface, the paper surface, to be so wet, and that's really going to help the spread of the color here. So make your sponge really wet and just brush it. Brush it on. You want to see the water, basically, and your paper is gonna curl because it's water. So don't worry about that. And I actually liked the way it did on my edges when I did this. So yeah. So then it's the law of color, guys. I mean, you start with your lightest colors and you work your way out. And basically what I did was this. I just filled up my brush or my sponge, and you can see some of the orange got in here already. And then I just squeezed it wherever I wanted it to go. And I just let it go. Just let it run. So see how it blooms? I love how it blooms. And you can do as much or as little as you want of these colors. I let them go. I let them bloom like that. And I let them run into each other because they push each other around. So it's super pretty. And then I'm going to do some blue. And if you push the paper down on the sides, now that it's all wet, you can see those colors come back to each other. Okay. And now my purple. And this actually turned out to be more of a burgundy. I think there was just a little too much red in it, but that's okay for me. And I'm just going to splotch this around. I'm not even going to squeeze my sponges. I just want it to be kind of interesting. And now I'm going to go for my black. And again, just going to let it splotch around. I'm not even going to squeeze it. I just want it to be kind of random, like so. And you can tap on it to get those going. Okay? Yucky fingers. Always keep some paper towels nearby. And this is starting to like kind of swirl around and do its own thing, right? You can leave it like that. You can pick your paper up and you can kind of move it. I kind of like the way this is free-form swirling around, so I'm going to leave it that way. Now I'm going to take my kosher salt, and this is so wet, guys. This is like, you can't even imagine. This is just like a puddle in here. So I'm going to take my sea salt, and I'm going to start on my outer edges, and I'm really going to like salt this thing. You can salt as little or as much as you want, and you see how the salt pulls the color, and it'll pull it around. So salt as little or as much as you want, and then you basically just let it dry from here. I'm going to zoom in for you guys. So you can see, hopefully that, no, that is not going to focus. But you guys can see the salt. You can see how it's pulling the color around and stuff like that. See there? And that's it, guys. I mean, that's basically what you do. And when you're done, it's going to be all nice and dry. Now, one of the things that I did do was I took my hair dryer, or you can take a heat gun, and you can kind of blow this around and it'll really like push the colors into each other some more. It turned out to be a really great effect on my other pages. I'm going to leave this one sit because I really like the way it swirled through, and I really feel like just looking at it all wet that this is going to be an amazing nebula looking thing from outer space. So I hope you guys liked it, and you know, I hope you guys join me again for some more little techniques as I learn how to do them myself. Show me what you've got. If you guys do this, please leave a link to your video in the comment section and let me see how you guys did. Thanks for watching, everyone.